On today's podcast, we are covering some great information with Coach G as we talk about the 6 secrets to six-pack abs. Stay with us.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast. I am your co-host, Dallas Amston, with Communicate to Succeed. However, today I feel more like just the host because we have a very special guest with us today. He is often the co-host. He is the general man. He is the CEO of CrossFit Edwardsville, the GM, one of the coaches. He is a doctor, not only of physical therapy and nutrition, but of thugonomics as well. How was that for an intro, Coach G? That was old school John Cena. G, what's up, man? Welcome to the podcast.
Man, I'm excited. I get to kind of nerd out on something that I think is a topic of great fascination for so many people, and there's so many misconceptions out there. I think we can bust some myths today. We can, spring some light bulbs. We can open some eyes today and shed like some real enlightenment on like what does it take to actually get six-pack abs, because everybody wants them. Everybody wants to have that flat stomach, that tight tummy, but like there's a lot of misinformation out there about what it really takes to get that. And today we're gonna peel back the curtain and reveal what's the truth. What is the truth of all this?
I love it. That is our conversation today, everybody. 6 secrets to six-pack abs. And G, I'm just going to brag on you for a second. You have lived your life for the past 10 plus years at a sub 5% or sub 5% body fat? Sub 7% body fat. So obviously, when we see the Hollywood stars that they say, look, they cut down, they cut weight and made it just to show their six packs for that one shot, that one shot in the movie that everybody's like, oh my God, Ryan Reynolds is so sexy. This is a man who has, and I'm not comparing you to Ryan Reynolds, but let's go there, Deadpool.
Let's compare me to Ryan Reynolds. Let's hang out there for a second.
Let's.
Tell me more how it reminds you of Deadpool.
Where's your wife when we need her? Liner, are you back there? Can you hear me? Tell us how G is like Ryan Reynolds. No, but you have lived what most people attain for a shot or two or a few weeks. You have really lived at a body fat percentage that is very healthy and proving that it can be done over the long term and over the long haul. So that's why I think you're expert to talk about this subject.
And it can be done drug-free, can be done as a guy who's coming from a genetic heritage of obesity, hypertension, diabetes, glaucoma, that the health and fitness don't run in the family. Let's put it that way, right? And like, I really don't feel like that, like what I have done in terms of my health and my fitness is truly extraordinary in that like the principles are very simple and lots of people can do them if they want it bad enough. So I mean, part of what we do at CFE, we help people to look their best, feel their best, perform their best. And in this pursuit, we've helped hundreds of clients to annihilate belly fat, including stubborn fat that's been plaguing them for years. In doing so, we help them to reveal their most amazing abdominals. And if you want to actually see transformations on our website, CrossFitEdwardsville.com, there's lots of them. On our socials, you can see before and afters and transformations. So if that's of interest to you, check it out. But in this podcast, we talk about some things that make a difference and that get you there faster, as well as things that don't make a difference or are not the make or breaks. And that a lot of these are going to be very shocking or surprising to a lot of people.
And we've not really pre-prepped. We threw in the lower thirds here for me to know, but we haven't talked about this yet. So I have no show notes. You kind of get to run this thing. I know one of the things you said, one of the things you said at the very beginning of our conversation was there is some myth or some myth busting too that you wanted to do. So is that where you want to open up, or do you want to get right into these 6 secrets?
No, let's start by just outlining a few things that are not the deciding factor in your success. So it's a short list of things that are not the make or break. The first is your genetics.
Okay.
So most people that we've worked with who achieve like lean, defined stomachs, they do not have a common genetic heritage. They don't necessarily have an ectomorphic body type or some other like built-in advantage. And it is absolutely true that some people do have a more natural physical predisposition to being leaner, being more fat-free. Our own experience has shown us that this quality is rarely the actual deciding factor, the true deciding factor.
Interesting. So you mentioned, all right, so I'm going to ask you questions here throughout. You
Yeah,
mentioned ectomorph. Can you really give
yeah,
it, because that might be a new term for some people. So ectomorph,
sure.
endomorph, mesomorph. Talk about those just for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, so in this context, ectomorphic is it's it's the person that everybody, you probably all know somebody that matches this category where no matter what they eat, they will never gain weight. You know,
Super
they can
lean
literally
just all the time.
their diet can be a complete dumpster fire and they're never going to be tremendously overweight. Ectomorphic is like that, the body type that defaults toward being very, very small and lean as a default setting, right?
Got
You
it.
know, you have the mesomorphs and the endomorphs, which are more like the rest of us who have more regular, not freak, physiologies. So anyway, the good news is that it puts the power back in your hands because that's not the end all be all deciding factor. The second thing that is not the end all be all is luck. Very few people win the abdominal lottery and get six-pack abs by accident. Few people are born with it. Some are. It's rare. It almost always takes a supportive lifestyle and supportive rituals and behaviors to get there. That's the second thing.
Okay.
The third thing, miracles. we have yet to meet the person who miraculously wakes up with six-pack abs because they took some magical diet pill or they went to bed with a lifestyle full of self-destructive, self-limiting, like negative health behaviors, and they wake up the next day and bam, the six-pack abs are there. It doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't
It's
work like
funny
that.
because there are so many ads and things based on the miracle diet, the secret pill, the one trick formula, the this and the that. And
Sure.
it's just not, I mean, short of Jesus going into the wilderness for 40 days, I bet he came back, after a 40-day fast, sporting some abs.
Probably looked lean and jacked.
He probably looked a little bit jacked, but yeah, no, that's an intriguing one because that's such a big promise in the nutrition/fitness industry.
Right. The next one on my list here, manifestation. Nobody thinks and
Mm,
wishes for six-pack abs really hard and gets them by the law of attraction. Now, well, it's important that we know like thinking patterns can help you in taking action in day-to-day rituals and behaviors that lead to success, especially when you don't feel like doing them. Like your thought pattern can be what takes you down a good path or a bad path. But like thinking about it has literally never helped anybody lose an ounce of body fat. You have to take some kind of action for it
yeah,
to matter.
yeah, that's good.
Next up, drugs. Now, we're not going to lie, like having an optimized hormonal profile, like with a doctor's help, this can definitely help you to look, feel, perform better. But here's what we know is also even more true than that. There is no drug on planet Earth that will give you the character, the discipline, the action taking, the drive, the purpose that it takes to cut that last 10 pounds of body fat and have a tight, toned tummy. Doesn't work
Sure,
like that. Sorry,
sure.
there's no injectable that's going to give you that.
And trust me, you don't want the look of someone who's got amphetamines. Like that's even though that looks like it could cut body weight, that's not the look you're going for.
All right. Next, supplements. Related to the above, there's no dietary supplement, pill, vitamin, miracle fat burn is going to override a lack of self-discipline and unlock the ability to supernaturally avoid the consequences of poor decision-making or an unhealthy lifestyle. So like there is no hack, but you're probably wondering, like, then what is there? What does make a difference?
Yeah.
How do people that get toned, flat stomachs, and tight, sexy abs, like, how do they get there? And the good news is there are certain common qualities. There are certain trends we notice with this population that succeeds.
Yeah. Hit us with them, baby. I'm ready.
All right, Dallas, first up, number one, people that actually do get that tight stomach, the flat tummy, the sexy abs. Number one, they are consistent. That is a good adjective to use when describing them.
All right.
Everybody who gets six-pack abs, they have demonstrable patterns of consistency. Consistency, by the way, in that they eat in a healthy way regularly.
Sure.
Maybe not perfectly, maybe not all the time, but they're consistent. They
Yeah.
exercise in a healthy way. Maybe not perfectly, but regularly, consistently. They consistently do these little extras that contribute to big breakthroughs. And we'll talk about some of those in a little bit here, but like
Yeah.
lots of people will go very hard. They'll really hit the ground running in January. They'll join a challenge and they'll kick butt for a handful of weeks. In a season, they'll make great progress. And there is value in these periodic sprints toward having your best health, right? You can channel
Sure.
those in a productive, healthy way, but there is no substitute for consistency over the long term if you really
Yeah.
want to achieve a sexy belly and keep it.
Okay, that's a good one. My brother, he's a member of a Globo Gym style thing, and he was telling me that one of the guys they work out consistently and have been there. They've known each other for about 7, 8 months, almost a year, I guess. And he said to me the other day, this guy goes, "Man, when are all of these January, February people going to finally quit? There are too many of them in the gym right now. I
Yeah.
need my consistent boys because there was too many people in the gym for him." But obviously, that's not the issue at CrossFit Edwardsville. That's at a Globo Gym thing, but consistency is
Right.
definitely key. Because, and this is something I say too, and then we'll go to number 2 here. Inspiration will ignite you, motivation will excite you, but it's that commitment to consistency that ultimately will transform you.
Then that has to be there, a commitment to consistency.
Yeah, that's good. So what's number 2 then, G?
Number two is that people that actually achieve the sexy abs, they are determined and driven
Okay.
even when things go wrong, which they will. So you need to know this, like in your path to achieving a sexy midline and tight abs, you will encounter obstacles. It's not a matter of if, but when. Like I believe that when you set off to achieve something great, the universe or the higher power or whatever is however you would describe that, it's going to test you in
Mm,
your resolve. Like you'll unexpectedly roll an ankle and you won't be able to exercise in the way that you think that you can. Your child might get sick with COVID or whatever, and and they require extra attention, and that pulls you away
yeah.
from some of
Yeah.
the things that you were wanting to do, or you'll be furloughed from your job. You'll get into a fight with your spouse that just kind of puts you in you're in some kind of way mentally, right? Your mind
Right.
space, it becomes challenged, and the question becomes like, are you willing to overcome the challenges and persevere
Mm,
when the path becomes difficult or inconvenient? And there's an amazing quote by Jen Cicero, who wrote the book You Are a Badass.
yeah.
I love this quote. And you may not be able to quite capture it in time for the lower thirds here, Dallas, but everybody at home, like write this on your hands, put it tattoo it on the back of your arm. So often we pretend we've made a decision when what we've really done is sign up to try something until it gets to be too uncomfortable.
Yep.
That's so good. I'm going to share it again. So often we pretend we've made a decision when what we've really done is sign up to try something until it becomes uncomfortable.
That's good.
That that's just too good of a quote. And everybody who succeeds in this journey, they seem to have some kind of like deep, powerful, compelling underlying reason why that drives them. Because like when you get thrown that curveball, you have to be willing to adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
Period. And you don't know what the curveball is going to be when you start your journey. I
Right.
just promise you there's going to be one.
Yeah, in the business world, one of the phrases that's used is turbulence. What happens when you begin to experience turbulence? Well, you don't stop the flight.
Right.
At that point, you have to figure out, how do I actually get above the turbulence, or do I just ride it out? So that's a really good one. They are number
Or
2 then.
Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law
Murphy's Law,
describes this.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to read that quote again for those of you watching the video version. Jen Sincero from You Are a Badass says, "So often we pretend we've made a decision when what we've really done is sign up to try something until it becomes uncomfortable." I love that. So number 2 is they're determined and driven. Keep me going, G. You're rolling, baby.
Number 3, they have a nutrition plan. Number 3, they have a nutrition plan. Now, this is really interesting, right? Because we at CrossFit Edwardsville have seen almost every legitimate nutrition plan work when it comes to getting somebody a sexy stomach.
Yeah.
Check this out. Paleo, it works. Keto works. Being a vegetarian, that works. Being a vegan, that works. Plant-based diets, those work. Getting it right 80% of the time works. Like the IIFYM, if it fits your macros, that works. Intermittent fasting, that works, etc., etc., etc. Some people are more sensitive to carbs and they do better with a low carb approach, something that we've talked about on this podcast before, right? Some people are more sensitive to dietary fats and they do better with a lower fat approach. Some people do better with bright lines, rock solid rules, off plan lists, like do this, do not do this, end of story, right? Some people do better with flexibility and a more principles based or principle centered approach. Like give me the general concept so I can kind of freestyle as needed, right?
Yep.
Some people do better with no cheat meals. Some people do better with regular cheat meals. So you're probably wondering then, what is the best nutrition plan for getting a six-pack? What is the best nutrition plan for you?
Oh, teacher, I know. It's the one that you do.
Yeah, it's the one that you do. The one there's two qualities that I think there are two qualities I think that are very, very important.
Yeah.
Globally, categorically, right? Number one, you need a plan that you can stick to. See point number 1 about consistency. You can look at this another way too. This is very important. You need a nutrition plan that matches your psychology. Just for example, we've talked on this podcast before about abstainers versus moderators, which in this context is some people do really, really well if it's black and white. Do this, don't do this. There's hard rules, there's lines in the sand. Others do better with, well, if I have built in occasional planned cheats and off-plan times, psychologically, they do better long-term. They can stick with that better long-term. It really depends on you as a person, right? But the plan that works with your psychology and you can stick to day in, day out, easy days, tough days, that's the one that you want to be on. And number two, the best nutrition plan for you is the one that works for your body, your physiology. See the points earlier about some people being more sensitive to carbs, others being more sensitive to dietary fats. This is not the only description of ways this plays out, right? But some people just do better physiologically with certain game plans versus other ones. Right? Some people just do better with intermittent fasting, period. Others, they have to eat small meals regularly throughout the day. And you can find extremely committed practitioners that believe in this like it's religion. You know why? Because that shit actually worked for them, right? But the chances are, like, and this is a really important, we talk about like psychology, right? Most people are actually very poor judges of psychologically which nutrition plan is the right one for them. What they will default to is what they like to do. What they'll default to is what feels good to me in the moment, right? Well, I like the idea of the pizza night every Friday. I like the idea of I eat super clean 6 days. On the 7th day, I do whatever I want. There's a good chance that what you feel is the right thing for you is exactly what got you to where you are right now and is part of the problem that is holding you where you are. Like if you're struggling to cut body fat, chances are you've spent the last 15, 20 years doing your best, trying to do what feels right, like trying to live a balanced life where like maybe you're eat healthy this much of the time, then you kind of eat unhealthy this much of the time. Intuition, when it comes to this, can be a liar. It can be a liar. And so there's and Dallas talked about this before also. You said that your body can send you false signals, false triggers. Do you want to kind of like outline that again for a moment here?
Well, sure. I mean, there's you have to listen to what your body actually needs versus what it's conditioned to want. So we've talked about this previously of a Pavlovian response. So it's the, oh, if food is a reward or food is a comfort, food being, oh, good day, must celebrate with food. Bad day,
Yes.
oh, bad day, must comfort with food. That's a Pavlovian response. And so when you hit, like you just said with point number 2, determined and driven, when you hit turbulence, if the default is to go over here to the Pavlovian response where food is the comfort, that's one issue. The second issue over here is there's certain times of day as well that have a Pavlovian response. So I call 7 to 9 p.m. I call it the witching hours because it's post dinner, but it's like, oh, this is when a dessert happened, or this is when after we get kids down, my wife and I sit down and we watch a show, must have something to snack while watching show. It's the popcorn in the theater mentality, right? But it's a theater in
Right.
your home. So there's a Pavlovian response that says, oh, it's a certain time of day, which admittedly, gee, we were programmed into it even in school. You'd eat breakfast, you'd go to school, lunch was always a certain time of day. Then,
Correct.
you'd have your post school snack, and then dinner was a certain time of day. And so that conditioning is decades long. But when we think about our physiology as humans, it's a lot longer than a couple of decades. So
Right.
being able to follow a nutrition plan that matches our physiology, matches our psychology, both of those are so important, like what you're saying. And we have to know whether it's actual need versus conditioning.
Correct. Like is it that, every time I go to the movie theater, I feel like I need the popcorn, or do I actually need the popcorn to fuel my most amazing life?
Right.
Right? It's
Right.
both. So,
I love that.
all right.
So having a nutrition plan. So number 1, consistent. Number 2, determined and driven. Number 3, having an actual nutrition plan. And I love also what you said there about your intuition may not be right.
Right. Your intuition, like
I
your
love
your
that point.
your feelings might be lying to you.
Right.
And if they are, like, here's the thing. I don't want to invalidate like those feelings because you actually feel them. It is real to you when
Sure.
you feel these surges of hunger. Like it's the witching hour. I sit down to eat. My whole body tells me I'm hungry for these foods right now. That is an actual thing. You're not imagining that. That is
No,
actually
it's a
happening with your
physical thing.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a physical thing. It is a false positive. It's a false signal, right? But
Yeah.
it's still really there. So just to be clear, we're not saying you don't feel those things. What we're saying is that you're the trained responses of your
Yeah.
body to certain stimuli can be it can be lying to you. And
That's
one of the
good.
things you need to do is you need to be actually tracking. I'm on this nutrition plan. Track, does my body actually change for the better as I do this?
Right.
Right?
Right. Right.
Success leaves clues, right? And you can track your progress. Is my body fat actually changing? And do my pants actually fit better? Right?
Right.
Like that's what
Inflammation, I think, is a big indicator for people in their 30s and 40s.
absolutely
If I'm feeling more inflamed, if I'm feeling tighter, all of a sudden recovery is longer after a workout, there's
right.
probably a reason. And that's something I need to go, okay, what are the nutritional cues that made, or the physiological elements of inflammation? What's the nutrition behind it?
Well, and also, what are the triggers? Like, because so many people have that Pavlovian trained response to certain environments or
Yeah.
times of day.
Right.
Like, you go to the birthday party, you feel like you have to eat cake. You actually don't have to have any cake, right? But you feel like you do because we've been trained since we were that every time there's a party, an event, a birthday, there's a birthday cake
Cake.
there, right? When you're once you're of age, and for like let's be real, for a lot of people before you're of age,
Right.
it's a Saturday and you feel like you have to drink, right? You're
Sure.
trained. Saturday night means drinking. Friday night means drinking, right? A lot of us, like, it's been drilled into us since we were young to behave a certain way.
Sure.
Are those behaviors serving you or not? And
That's good.
identifying that and then tracking, okay, what actually works and what actually doesn't. So important, Dallas. It's so
That's
important.
good. Well, take me to number 4. I'm drinking from the fire hose right now, so keep it going.
Yeah, number 4, people that actually get the sexy abs, kill the body, the belly fat. They have a fitness program that has both strength and cardio elements, both, because they're both so crucial to giving your body a stimulus for the right changes. What I mean by is like, you don't just want to peel body fat off. But that's great. That's a great thing to aspire to.
Yeah.
But when you peel it off, you don't want what you reveal to look frail, weak, soft. You want it to reveal lean muscle so that when you reveal, like, you look awesome. You look however you want to frame it. Like some people say it, they want to be toned. Some say they want to be defined. Some want to be cut. Some want to be jacked. Some want to be muscular. Some want to they want to be lean. Whatever, how you want to phrase that, right? As you're taking the body fat off, you want to have something nice to show. And having strength as a piece of your fitness program is absolutely essential to that. So you actually have lean muscle and the strength work. This is important. And everybody that preaches that strength work is the key to becoming more lean, they will all rely on this fact, and it is a fact, it is a truth forever, that muscle is more metabolically expensive to the body than body fat is. Yeah. So if you add a pound of muscle to your body somewhere, the body's at rest caloric burn just to maintain that muscle that you've added on is higher than the 1 pound of body fat, which means that you do at rest, it is default, doing nothing else, having more muscle tissue on your body means you do burn more calories at rest. You do therefore burn through more of the foods that you eat, which means that your body becomes more of a fat burning furnace by default. True facts, right? But the thing is that we all know a lot of people that are very big and very strong and have no six-pack in sight. Absolutely none. You know, you got your powerlifting community. A lot of those guys, like, they don't look super lean. A lot of those guys, because you need the best of both worlds. There's very real, valid science that talks about how being in certain heart rate zones takes you into more fat burning zones.
Right.
Yes, that happens, right? So you don't just want the strength, you also want the cardio piece of it. One of the cool things about CrossFit is that every single workout that we do has aspects and elements of both, which is also what helps us keep from getting bored. The psychological benefit of that at CrossFit is huge as well. But everybody who gets that six-pack, they've got both, at least in some ratio, strength and cardio.
Love it. Love it. All right, keep me going here. What's number 5?
Number 5, they do a little extra. And this can look very different for a lot of different people. But I've had folks that went from, say, fat to fabulous, fat to fit. And what they did was they came in, they did their CrossFit workout, and they stayed after the CrossFit workout, and they did an extra 2 miles on the rower. And they just did that a handful of times every week. Or they came in after the CrossFit workout, they did a handful of intervals on the assault bike a bunch of times every week. Maybe they do CrossFit Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and on Wednesday and Saturday, they do long cardio efforts, long runs. I've seen all of those things work. There's an amazing girl who's a woman. There's an amazing woman who's a part of our 9:30 a.m. workout squad. That's when I work out a lot of the time.
I know who you're going to reference. Yep.
Yeah. Linda Shu. She's an older gal, and she is kicking all of the ass. She did our nutrition program. She learned the principles. We figured out what works for her. That woman comes in early to the gym, warm up, stretch, do planks.
Yep.
For several minutes. She's in her 60s, I think, 55 to 60, I think is her age bracket.
She's crushing it.
Crushing it. She can hold a plank for like 5-6 minutes. Like, can you hold a plank for 5-6 minutes? Challenge your 20-year-old niece. Can she hold a plank for 6 minutes, right? Like, it's amazing what she has built up to. But she comes in, she does extra lunges, extra planks. She'll stay after, and then she'll do extra mobility stuff. What I've seen across the board is the people that they have that extra, the people that do that extra they are much more likely to be the person that you see in the before and after transformation,
Mm,
right? It's
yeah.
usually some kind of exercise extra that they're
Yeah.
doing. Like they have their workout at CrossFit at 5 a.m., but then when they're off work in the evening, they and their kids go play soccer in the yard,
Right.
right? Not intended as exercise, but incidental extra activity that they just build in as
Yeah.
the extra work that they do. Do
Well,
you
I
know what I
think
mean?
the reference you just made there about after work playing with the kids in the yard or something like that. Um, Part of what makes, if we view the strength and cardio programs as work or labor, they become laborsome. But if it's
Sure.
part of like I get to play, I get to have fun, I get to do extra rowing, like I get to do that. I remember there was
Get
one
to hang
of
out with my friends at CrossFit.
yeah, just even just jumping up and down on the box a bunch of times. Man, my kids do that for 2 hours. But if I tell them you have to do it, guys, hey, you're going to go exercise, they're hemming and hawing. And I'm like, guys, there's a box. Have fun with it. 2 hours, they'll jump up and down on that box and not blink. So sometimes it's our mindset of coming at it with the little extra is also a chance to play.
Absolutely. And since most of us are parents too, I think a lot of our audience can resonate with the idea that like when you're like running around the house wrestling with your son and you're pretending to be superheroes,
Hmm.
that is physically intensive.
Oh,
That's, I
yeah.
mean, that's real activity. That's real exercise.
Yep. I
But
have 3 boys who regularly want me to play monster, tiger, wrestle, uh,
yep,
superhero, but it is always a physical game.
yeah,
I literally I split jeans a couple months ago because I had on non-flexible jeans and I went to squat down with Aaron. It was like, and of course all the boys cracked up at that when daddy's jeans ripped wide open. But
yeah.
yeah, no, it's definitely not a non-physical game with kids.
For us, my son, he just adores Spider-Man, and
Oh,
so he likes to pretend that he's Spider-Man. And so because he wants to be the good guy, I have to play the villain. And
sure.
so my villain is I am the spider, and which is for me, it is me basically applying the jujitsu that I do at the jujitsu gym.
Yep.
Um, with my arms and my legs. Now I pretend I've got 8 limbs, and I'm trying to capture my prey with my arms and my legs, and he is trying to catch me with
His
his
web
webs,
shooters. Yep.
web shooters. You know what I
That's
mean?
so fun.
And that is the a little bit extra that I do on a
I
regular
love it.
basis. My son and I, every Thursday is a play day for us. We go out, we hit the trampoline park. That's additional exercise
Yep.
that I do. Or we go and we do the CrossFit Kids workout together every
Mhm.
Thursday. So like I have my workout in the first part of the day, then I pick up my son from school. I take him, we go on our play day. Every play day on Thursdays starts with us going to CrossFit Kids together, and I do the workout alongside him. And I
Fun.
do it at like super low intensity. I
Sure.
scale a bunch of stuff. I'm not trying to, set a personal best on anything,
Right.
but I'm
No, you're
actually
there with
doing the
him.
activity alongside him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
Extra credit. Extra credit.
So
Go
we're
ahead.
talking everybody about the 6 secrets to six-pack abs. We've gone through 5 of them. I'm ready to get hit with number 6. We've
Number
talked about
six.
consistency, determination, having a plan, strength and cardio programs, and doing that little extra. What is number 6?
Number six is the people that actually get to that six pack abs, that get to that lean, tight tummy. They almost always have guidance, coaching, assistance of some sort. Somebody else on the
Yeah.
outside looking in to say, what are you not seeing that
Yeah.
you need to see? In the case
Yeah.
of Linda Shu, the example we used earlier, the 55 to 60-year-old who is kicking butt, looks incredible, looks way younger than her age. She has dramatically transformed her physique, cut a ton of body fat. She's a great example. Another example at our gym, Julie Mears. Julie Mears
Mhm.
went from something like 27% body fat to like 11% body fat,
Yeah.
something silly like that. What they did was they had a coach who helped them identify what was the breakthrough on their nutrition. They took what they learned and they ran with it and they
Yeah.
stuck with it, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Or On the fitness side, both of them have had fitness coaches that help them to identify, okay, what little extra things should you do outside of class that'll make the biggest difference for you? What's the biggest bang for the buck for you? You don't have all day.
Yeah.
You don't have all day. You're a busy working professional. You have a spouse. You have kids. You do not have all day to exercise. What are the 2 or 3 extra things that you should do that would make a really big difference for you? They have somebody helping to identify that. A lot of the people that get the six-pack abs, they don't even know the coach or the inspiration that makes a difference for them, right? They listen to David Goggins' videos online, and
Right.
David Goggins gets them super fired up. And they see David Goggins doing all the push-ups and the whatever exercise.
Yep.
And they take that piece of the program they saw him do and they do that. Or they go on the long run on the hills like they see David Goggins do, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people have in-person coaches. They'll have virtual coaches, coaches that are directly in, like have a direct input to what they do day to day. Other coaches that literally are just pure inspiration, people they see on the YouTubes, people they listen to on the podcasts, right? And they take this funnel of potential voices, they narrow it down to a few voices they really trust,
Yeah.
and they go all in with those few voices.
Yeah.
They're almost never trying like doing it based on field, or almost never doing it based on going it alone. Like, I'm smart enough, I'm just going to figure this out in my own
Right.
power. They have feedback loops. They have people that are actively working in or even passively working in to
Yeah.
help them identify the next little breakthrough for when they have that obstacle we talked about earlier, which is going to happen. How do you get past those sticking points?
Yeah, that we talked about this when we were talking about the nutrition plan too, that sometimes you can't trust your intuition.
Mhm.
And a coach helps you see the way I always liken it is when I played soccer in high school was I was on the field, I was running the drills, I was doing this, that, and the other. And my coach from the outside looking in would say, Dallas, quit cutting to your right, cut to your left next time. And I would go, oh, well, it just felt natural. It felt natural to go that way. But what they were
Right,
seeing was there was an opening that I wasn't seeing being on the field. They were
right.
off the field looking at it. So sometimes the person looking in can give you insights into what you might not necessarily see from
Everybody
being
has blind
in the
spots
game.
of some sort. Everybody has
Exactly.
some blind spots. Now, for some people, those blind spots are enough to completely stalwart or stalemate their progress.
Yep.
For others, it just slows their
Right.
progress,
Right.
right? As I speak to my audience here, they probably know they're stuck or they're just very slow in their progress. Why is that? There's probably a professional out there that can tell you exactly why that is. That can
100%.
tell you what is your parachute that is slowing you down, or what are the concrete blocks on your legs that are dragging you down.
Love it. So everybody, I'm just going to go through these again because this has been a heck of a knowledge bomb that you dropped on us. So number one, consistency, so important. If you want to know the 6 secrets to six pack abs, number one, be consistent. Number two, determined and driven. Overcome that turbulence, overcome that Murphy, punch him in the face, and keep on moving. Number three here, have that nutrition plan. Obviously, we have coaches at CFE at CrossFit Edwardsville that you can talk with about this. There are programs available within the community for you as well. Obviously, strength and cardio, both very important to your overall health. You don't want to just be in one or the other because you need that extra fat burning, which leads us to number five, which is doing that little bit of have a sense of play about your life and your fitness as well, so that it's not drudgery for you. And that helps with consistency too. And then finally, number six, get that guidance. Again, we've got the coaches at CrossFit Edwardsville. Gee, this has been awesome. 6 secrets to six pack abs. I'll say you're kind of my David Goggins today. You've got me fired up here a little bit.
Cool, man. That's what I try to do. Try to educate, entertain, inspire.
I feel like we need to start doing Goggins-esque sort of TikToks or Instagrams with you, when you're on the assault bike and you're just yelling at the camera on the side. You know how he does that where he's jogging and he's like, "You're a little wump. You're a little wuss. You're a this and that. You got to keep on going." I feel like we need to get you. We need to have Coach G's assault, or something like that.
We just need to have somebody follow me around then when I'm exercising, and just
Yeah.
periodically asking like, "Yo, what are you thinking right at this time?"
Right. You're getting ready to deadlift, getting ready to throw it, getting ready to throw that weight around. And you're like, you got to get on this. You got to get on that. I feel like there's an inner Goggins in you that needs to be out, G.
Well, there's like it. My mission in life is to help like authorize, empower, inspire, lead like my tribe to do the things it takes to
Yeah.
look their best, feel their best, perform their best, live their best life, and enjoy an exciting journey as
Mm,
they go along with it. So hopefully I was able to do that at least a little bit today. Hopefully you guys
yeah.
had a good time. Hopefully I was able to keep it entertaining for you. And hopefully you guys have gleaned some nuggets you can take back to your life. So you can go back and kick more butt, take more names, look your best, feel your best, perform your best, live your best life.
Boom, love it. So everybody, if you want to learn more about us, if you want to get more of this information, you can check us out on all the socials: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and now TikTok, at CrossFit Edwardsville. Just check us out there. You can also use ye old Google machine and Google CrossFit Edwardsville. Read our hundreds of 5-star reviews. Are we at 1,000 5-star reviews yet, G?
We
We
have a
got to
lot
be.
of them. I'm not sure what the
Yeah,
number
we
is.
have hundreds for sure of 5-star reviews. So read the experience of others within the community. Go to our website as well when you're ready, CrossFitEdwardsville.com. As G said, you can see a bunch of transformations, read a bunch of stories there as well. And once you are ready to take the leap, well, heck, I'll even say this: there's a bunch of other resources there, ebooks and downloads and things for you. So
Ebook,
even if you're not,
audiobook,
yeah,
podcasts.
ebooks, audiobooks, all of it. These podcasts, our YouTube channel at CrossFit Edwardsville to learn more about us and our community. But when you are ready, when you're like, hey, man, I may not want 6-pack abs, but I want to look better, feel better, perform better in my life. We want you to go to on our website and you click that little button that says book a no sweat conversation. That's where you're going to talk with one of our team members about your goals, your plans, and what you want to see in your life in the next year, 3 years, 5 years down the road. So again, you can live your best life, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of it. So go to CrossFitEdwardsville.com. Love it. G, love this conversation. Brother, love you, man. You're awesome.
Hey man, thanks. Hope to just try to channel whatever knowledge, whatever gifts I have to bless the world.
Well, it
And
was,
I had a good time hanging out with you, my dude, as we
yeah,
always do.
always fun, always a great time. So everybody go check us out. And in the meantime, as I always like to say, have a championship day.